evening. I'm Richard.
And I'm Lolly Swain.
And you're listening to The Way It Is. Headlines tonight. Mugabe elected, Commonwealth rejected.
Minelli's big day, but is the groom gay?
Don't send in troops, say lefty groups.
Publicity feast, Robbie's a priest.
Ban on hunts, angers the Countryside Alliance. The House of Commons has voted overwhelmingly to ban hunting with dogs.
However, the Lords voted on Tuesday for a compromise deal that allows some licensed hunts.
Joining me in the studio is government mouthpiece Dempsey Makepeace. Tally-ho, Makepeace.
The vast majority.
Hang on, I haven't asked you a question yet.
Oh.
Right. Why is this government so insistent on pursuing this issue?
The vast majority of people in this country, young and old, male and female, black and white, Chaz and Dave, rich and poor, are sick of seeing this cruel and inhumane barbarity taking place in 21st century Britain.
Chaz and Dave.
We made a promise in our manifesto and in the Queen's speech to outlaw hunting with hounds, and that's what we're going to do. I haven't finished.
I'm sorry?
And that's what we're going to do, Richard.
Just look at the state of the country. The health service is falling to pieces, public transport is in chaos, teachers are striking, street crime has spiralled out of control, and yet you've devoted 125 hours of parliamentary time to what is, despite the emotions it inspires, a minor issue.
It is not a minor issue to the fox, Richard.
That aside, aren't you just cynically trying to up your popularity with the city-dwelling, toff-hating public and appease Labour backbenchers?
Now, that's just...
Goodbye, Mr. Makepeace.
I haven't finished.
Yes, you have.
Also joining us in the studio is Sir William Lemsip, leader of the Beaufort Hunt. Sir William, you must be very angry about this proposed ban being given so much parliamentary time.
Not really.
No?
No. You see, there's a loophole in this proposed legislation.
And that is...
The Commons only voted to ban hunting with dogs, not any other creatures.
So what animals do you plan to go hunting with?
Monkeys!
Monkeys?
Yes, imagine the scene, Lolly. Red-coated huntsman galloping across the English countryside behind a pack of highly trained killer monkeys.
And how would these monkeys kill the fox?
With guns and knives and monkey cunning. Oh, it'll be a bloody business, Lolly. This won't be a tea party, although the monkeys will probably have a tea party. Entertain the kiddies and so forth.
But, hold on, monkeys with guns?
You know, there's an old saying, Lolly, softly, softly, catch ye monkey. Well, it won't be softly, softly when oozy-toting monkeys catch ye the fox, I can tell you.
But what about the proposed third way, a compromise that allows some licensed hunts to take place?
As long as I can arm chimps, I don't care.
Thank you, Sir William.
I simply love to watch animals die. Is that a crime?
Thank you, Sir William. The northern towns hit by race riots last summer should force ethnic communities to integrate in a bid to promote greater understanding. That's what the chairman of the Commission for Racial Equality said this week.
But can such a utopian view really work in practice? With me, I have shadowy Home Office spokesmeister Brian Stern.
Hello, Richard.
Stern, what form will this racial integration take?
Well, Richard, there are some people in this country who've just made no effort to fit in. They're not interested in English things, and they make no attempt to take part in English society.
Tony Blair, for instance.
Yes, no. Look, Tony is as English as the next man.
Gordon Brown.
Yes, Gordon. No. You're just trying to confuse me, you see. No, we're not talking about Tony Blair. We're talking about integration. The government firmly believes that if we're to end racial discrimination in these communities, it's vital that everybody, black, white or Asian, is treated equally.
So everyone has equally poor housing and equally bad education and healthcare.
Yes, no. Actually, yes, not a bad idea, is it? No, and then there's the government new approach to stop and search. We have to bring to an end the accusations of discrimination by police officers.
So no one will be stopped and searched?
No, everyone will be stopped and searched, continuously, except for criminals.
Right. Why?
Well, why should criminals be treated equally? They've forfeited their rights.
There's a point in there somewhere.
No, we won't search them, and we'll go even further than that. We won't even arrest them. Ignore them, I say. Send them to Coventry.
Well, I think there's quite a few there already. So this is the Home Office's new approach, is it?
Yes. Tough on crime, tough on the victims of crime. Causes! I meant causes! Damn.
I'll hold you to that. Snickers of Mars, another sweet you can eat between meals if you want to be a toothless blubbergut, is relaunching the chocolate bar.
The new improved Mars bar will be smaller, lighter and fluffier. And it's changing its slogan.
Yes, the Mars a day no longer helps you work, rest and play, but apparently gives you pleasure you can't measure.
Will this new slogan be as successful as the old one? Joining us is veteran advertising copywriter Leonard Cobb.
Hello.
Leonard, you've written your share of advertising slogans over the years, haven't you?
Yes, indeed. Remember, go to work on an egg?
You wrote that?
No.
Isn't it the case, Cobb, that you've been sacked from every advertising agency you've ever worked for?
Well, I wouldn't say sacked exactly.
What would you say?
Actually, sacked pretty much covers it, doesn't it?
Yes, I've got one of your slogans here. Remember this one? If you feel a little peckish, pick up a prostitute.
Oh, yes. I did that with a Liverpool Dockside Regeneration Board that weren't keen.
No, they weren't. And you wrote this one for Heinz in the 60s. 1 million housewives every day pick up a tin of beans and say, my life has no meaning and I'm on tranquilizers.
Very punchy.
Oh, come on, Richard, you're being a bit harsh on Leonard. How about this one? Lip-smacking, thirst-quenching, ace-tasting, motivating, good buzzing, cool-talking, high-walking, fast-living, ever-giving, cool-fizzing...
Yeah, all right, what was wrong with that?
It was an advert for bleach.
Anyway, Leonard, what do you think of the new Mars slogan, pleasure you can't measure?
Well, it's not the one I'd have written for Mars.
Really, and what would you have written?
The Marses are nice.
Yes, you really aren't very good at this, are you?
No, I'm not.
As the larger-than-life Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan seeks to overturn a ban on him visiting Britain, we ask the question, is he a prophet or a bigot?
And answer, he's a bigot. Droopy-faced Hollywood singing shape Liza Minnelli has married again amid a sickening sea of well-wishers made mostly out of fake skin.
Don't be so heartless, Richard. It was a beautiful ceremony.
Was it really? And there was me thinking it was nothing more than an horrendous carnival of freaks. On the line from New York is our overhyped celebrity marriage correspondent, Victoria Sponge.
Thanks, Richard. I was there, and it was truly a magnificent and emotional day. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Yes, I thought it was on Michael Jackson's face. In fact, I've heard that post the tragic events of September the 11th, they're already referring to this as the plastic events of March the 16th.
Who's they?
Well, all right then, me.
Well, you're wrong. Liza, 56, looked radiant as she stood at the altar, and a huge A-list of stars of stage and screen turned out to witness the ceremony.
Well, I saw Liz Taylor. Who else was there?
Well, there was one of the dads from My Two Dads, and Willis out of Different Strokes.
What are you talking about? Willis?
Out of Different Strokes, yes.
Yes, well, far be it from me to suggest that this media circus go-round has been used in any way to promote the old Warbling Has-Been's forthcoming concerts, but has this media circus go-round been used in any way to promote the old Warbling Has-Been's forthcoming concerts?
Yes.
Thought so. Thank you, Victoria.
We all love getting it straight from middle-aged men. Or at least that's what a study on newsreaders has shown.
The report from the Independent Television Council suggests that the huge pay deals handed out to TV News golden girls like paddle-faced Katie Derham and the Anthea Turner of News, Mary Nightingale, may be money misspent.
The poll of the nation's favourite newsreaders is headed by Trevor McDonald, Michael Burke and honorary man Kate Adie. Good news for you, Richard.
Hardly. As of next week, I will no longer be a newsreader, Lolly.
Oh, yes, sorry.
It's all right. I am resigned.
I thought you were sacked.
Resigned to my fate. At least this survey proves what I've said all along. People want the news read by someone with gravitas. For instance, I noticed you didn't make the top 20, Lolly. Perhaps your brand of frothy chat and cantilevered underwear doesn't wash with the listening public.
Oh, yes, Richard, and where were you on the list?
But I'm, hang on, let's have a look. 20, 40, oh look, Gummo Dimbleby's at 76.
Oh, there you are, Richard, almost at the bottom, number 123, just above the man who reads the news on Sky.
Well, at least that's one in the eye for Murdoch.
No, the Isle of Skye, it's a farming programme. So, what are your plans for the future now that your Way It Is contract has been cancelled?
Well, I'm leaving my options open, Lolly. I'm still a relatively young man. In fact, I had supper with the head of news earlier this evening. Would you stop laughing?
England have won a cricket match.
And as if that wasn't historic enough, a total of 7 records were set in the weekend's first test against New Zealand.
The way it is doesn't have a cricket correspondent. That would be a waste of money. So instead, we sent our football correspondent, Ben Mosley. He joins us live from Christchurch.
Yeah, thanks, Lolly, and a big crickety good day. Welcome to my test match roundup. I love it. Yes, well, Lolly, New Zealand is currently famous for The Lord of the Rings, but this week, England were the Lord of the Swings. And that's not a wife-swapping reference, by the way. Graham Thorpe, if you're listening, no offence.
Thanks, Ben. So, pretty exciting stuff, yeah?
Well, for cricket, Lolly, it wasn't bad at all. And, of course, we won! Yes, England, the plucky Brits there, the blucky Brits, the lucky shit, no.
Tell us about the record-breaking, Ben.
Right, yeah. Well, Lolly, you name it, they broke it. The fastest double century, the best 6th wicket stand, the best England partnership, and at lunch, I did the longest wee I've ever done. I tell you, they broke my PB by about 10 seconds.
Right, thanks, Ben, thanks.
Yeah, sure, right. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here in New Zealand, and with me, Lolly, I have ex-Dutch international footballer, premiership manager, and sexual ninja, it says here, Ronald Flubbers.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you like the old cricket then, Ronald?
No, it's boring.
Yeah, right, can you just pretend to for this? I've spent quite a lot of money flying you over here.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so, it was amazing stuff. Wasn't it, Ronald, in the first test there? Who do you see winning the old second?
Brazil.
Yeah, okay, moving on. Nathan Astle, the old Astelo, incredible bat play there from him, 222 runs, record time. How many do you see him scoring in the second test, briefly?
Oh, 1,000, 2,000, maybe 1,000,000, you know. You score the goals, you put the ball in the back of the net, that's cricket.
It's not actually, is it? Well. So, anyway, keeping it light, Ronald. Have you ever bowled a maiden over?
Oh, yeah. I went full toss into a crease.
You see, you have spoiled that now. That was a light-hearted innuendo, and you have made it filthy.
Would you like to see my middle stump?
No, I would not. Help me out here, Lolly. It's all gone dirty. I'm knee-deep in filth. It's goodbye from New Zealand.
You know they have amazing sheep here.
Oh, mercy me.
The re-escalation of the conflict in Afghanistan following reports that the Taliban were a spent force has raised fears that America and Britain may be involving themselves in another Vietnam.
Joining me is Junior Defence Minister Colin Campbell. Mr. Campbell, are you worried that Britain might be involving itself in another Vietnam?
No. Britain simply can't get involved in another Vietnam because we didn't have a first Vietnam to start with.
Presumably, the US have requested British commanders because of their vast experience and reputation as ruthless killing machines.
That is one reason, yes.
And the other?
That they don't want any of their own people killed.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Cornish film industry. Not a phrase many of us will have heard before. But if the Cornwall Film Fund are to be believed, we may be hearing it a lot more often.
First, the new Bond movie used jumped-up garden centre The Eden Project as a location, and now the world's first Cornish language film is being screened at the Celtic Film and Television Festival.
What does this mean for the region? And are hopes for a pasty-shaped Hollywood well-founded? To find out, we can now opt out to the hostile cream tea-serving B&B we call our Truro studio.
Hello, me old beauties. I be Jeffro.
And I be Polly Trescothick, I be.
And you am listening to the way them are, says I. Ha ha. Listen up, me buckos, and listen good. Here be the headlines tonight. Foot and mouth has gone, tourist drought still on.
Weather often poor on Bodmin Moor.
The English are bastards, the English are bastards.
Especially them scrumpy sucking cheddar chompers from Somerset.
Ollie! Put a light in the steeple, says I, for the gentleman is coming, bringing brandy for the parson, baccy for the clerk, and entertainment news for yous lot.
Time was that Cornwall stood alone, proud and free.
Huzzah!
But now we go cupping on to the English, and the English with the funny accents.
Them the Americans, Polly.
No, if they bring Cornish, them English. Don't make backwards with a marlin spike if I says out untrue.
Fair enough, but now, me darlings, we've got a film industry that calls our own. In the studio with I is Cornish Film Fund spokeswoman Amanda Lescarton.
Hi.
Why, Mander, you smell as soft and dainty as a lady from up the manor.
Thank you.
So, me beauty, what's all this about a Cornish film industry? Tell I that, eh?
Well, this film is a very important step in the Film Fund's long-term plans.
Oh, yeah, and what be they then?
To prove that Cornish filmmakers can rival any in the world.
A sentiment as fine as any Paul Perro gift shop tea towel.
And then use this newfound respect to get jobs in London and leave Cornwall.
What, says you to me? Leave Cornwall? Why, you black-hearted wench.
Oh, throw her out, Jeffrey. We'll not be wanting her sort round here. Throw her out.
Go on, sling your hook, you lily-livered English lover, and don't let me see your face west of Plymouth again. Oh, I'd be right royal, Paul. Yeah, me blood it be boiling.
I've not seen you this angry since you watched that documentary about holiday homes.
What, straw dogs? Aye. Leave Cornwall, Paul. Who could do such a thing? Have a pasty.
No, they taste of shit.
Fair enough. I got wangle-wurzels in my garden.
Sir Elton John has suggested that Liza Minnelli's new husband is gay.
The man in question, David Guest, is a 48-year-old concert promoter who collects Judy Garland memorabilia and has never married before.
A spokesman for Guest issued a strongly worded denial of Elton John's claims.
It reads, ooh, get her. More news from the upper echelons now, with Nigel Kempton in A Load of Old Posh.
Gerald McHalibut, a raconteur and epicure of some years' standing, has at last achieved the rank of bon viveur. McHalibut, 42, studied dilettantism at Durham, albeit patchily, before going on to the prestigious creative frittering course on the Isle of Mystique. Bon viveur is the highest rank of wastrel to which a commoner can aspire. And in terms of ultimate pointlessness, McHalibut need now count only minor European royalty his superior.
Fascinating. Anything else, Kempton?
Well, I hear Angela Scarsbrook Arse has finally convinced the disgraced Bishop of Limpley-on-Sea to officiate at her nuptials later this month. Angela will be joined in unholy matrimony to Mr. Pickles, her pony. Sadly for Angela, the church still refuses to recognize homo-pony union, which is why she's had to plump for a proven nonce like the former bishop to preside. But Angela is delighted with her well-groomed young groom-to-be. He may be young, but he has a wise, not to say extremely large head on his shoulders, says Angela, and riding him makes me come like a train.
Appalling, isn't it?
Well, not at all, Ollie, because these villains are tagged. We know that they're committing the crimes.
But if they weren't tagged, they'd still be in prison and unable to commit any crimes. Therefore, they would have been 1,400 crimes less. What have you got to say to that?
No. These crimes were there to be committed. If the tagged criminals hadn't committed them, then someone else would have done it. You know, much better to have them done by villains we know than 1,400 new ones.
Oh, right. Well, put like that, it makes perfect sense.
Does it? Great. Bye then.
Well done, Lolly. You really nailed him there.
Did I? Oh, thanks. The government promised 100%, but now they're only giving 95%.
No, not the railways or healthcare or crime or any of the other areas where Labour's performance falls way below 95%. This story is about beer.
Real ale groups are up in cardiganed arms about Consumer Minister Melanie Johnson's ruling that a pint should contain only 95% liquid beer. CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale, are saying that a 100% liquid pint was one of Labour's 1997 election pledges. With me in the studio, CAMRA spokesman Ronan Mash. Ronan.
Hello, Lolly. Is there anywhere I can put my bike?
Yeah, just lean it up against Richard's desk.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I would have left it outside.
Yes, whatever.
Youths.
Yes, so, Ronan, is 5% less beer important?
To a real ale drinker it is, Lolly. Imagine going into a pub, right, getting 5% less old man's knapsack than you expected.
Old man's knapsack?
Yeah, it's a real ale, like Badger's Excuse Me, Golden Country Shower, and your mum.
Your mum?
Yeah, your mum. It's a novelty real ale aimed at inner city youth.
What's it like?
Well, your mum? It's very tasty. I mean, it smells a bit funny, but when you pull your mum, you get a lovely frothy head.
Perhaps we should move on.
Yeah, sorry, that might have sounded a bit rude.
So, do you think that Labour reneging on its 100% liquid pint promise is indicative of anything?
How do you mean?
Well, you know, its attitude towards big business, its willingness to go back on election promises.
Oh, I see, yeah. Well, you have to understand that CAMRA, right, is not a political organisation. It's just a lot of middle-aged men with beards who drink far too much. So, frankly, you know, as long as I can drink 20 pints and know I'm actually drinking 20 and not 19, then Tony Blair can do what he likes. So, you know, I'll be too pissed to notice.
Ronan, thank you. Earlier in the week, thousands of postal workers joined a protest march against proposals to increase competition in the industry.
With me now is Pat Mann from Consignia, the Postal Service, formerly known as the Postal Service. So, what's it all about, man?
It's about the government sorting out the post.
Surely that's your job.
No, not for much longer. These days, any Tom, Dick or Harry is able to get a licence to operate a postal service, hence the demonstration and march to Downing Street with a petition.
And did you deliver your petition to the Prime Minister?
No, he wasn't in.
So what did you do?
We put a card through his door. I just have to collect it from the sorting office. Any time between the hours of 9:30 and 9:35, but not at weekends or during the week.
Yes, obviously. Thank you, man.
You never told me before, Richard. How did your supper with the head of news go this evening?
Well, he's still not renewing my contract, Lolly. For me, the way it is the way it was. And the way it will be the way it won't. Be.
Right, still. Did you have a nice meal?
No. A gypsy violinist kept coming up to our table, thought we were a gay couple. In the end, I had to pay him £10 to stop playing I Am What I Am.
Well, I've had an interesting day.
Really?
Yes, I went to the Braddock Clinic.
Oh, the Braddock. Where?
The sperm of my baby's father came from, and where you also donated sperm.
And what did you find out?
Well, nothing at first. Donor information is strictly confidential, and the staff there aren't supposed to tell you those kind of details, but I greased a few palms.
Not an unusual occurrence in a sperm donation clinic.
And they told me the name of the father.
And?
And it definitely isn't you.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Oh, great. So who is it?
Well, that's an entirely personal matter between me and the baby's father, and the 35 members of the Braddock Clinic admin department.
Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to be a father. That's good news.
Fantastic, isn't it? Hang on, you're not disappointed, are you?
No. Well, maybe a little. I'd begun to warm to the idea of having children. Life can get a little lonely sometimes. As I get older and thoughts of mortalities.
Richard, why is there a gypsy violinist in the studio?
He must have followed me from the restaurant. What's the matter with you? Get out!
No, look, you have a very lucky face, you and your lover also.
He wasn't my lover, he's the head of news. or Tigger? Prince Charles' loyal Jack Russell has passed away.
To report on this sad day for the royal family is our veteran royal watcher, Quentin Rumpelteazer. Hello, Quentin.
Hello, Lolly.
Did you move to St Andrews, Quentin, to keep an eye on Prince William?
Oh, yes, I did, Lolly, but I rushed back as soon as I heard about Charles's terrible loss. And the university had put a restraining order on me.
So, Quentin, how badly affected will Charles be by the death of Tigger?
Oh, Lolly, the poor creature. His puppy dog eyes, his musky smell, his big floppy ears.
Yes, Tigger was a lovely dog.
No, I was talking about Charles. But he's an old man, Lolly. He can cope with loss. But think how it'll affect the young princes, Lolly. Harry and William. William might be at university, Lolly, but he still needs a pet.
Well, I'm sure Charles will buy him a new dog.
Oh, I once asked William if he wanted to see my puppies. And my etchings. And my etchings of puppies. But the special branch hustled me away before he could agree.
I'm not surprised.
I'll be his dog, Lolly. I'll be his man's best friend. He can take me for walks, tickle my stomach, keep me on a leash, chase after me with a poop scoop. I'll even sit on his lap.
Okay, Quentin, I get the picture,
He can give me a bone any time, Lolly. I want to be his bitch.
Get out, you unpleasant monarchist!
He hasn't got a puppy.
And just time now for your letters and emails.
66-year-old Edith Crumb is concerned about rising crime. Where I live, I am surrounded by muggers, drug dealers and prostitutes, writes Edith from Holloway Prison.
Eddie Fruit has emailed about Baroness Thatcher's call for Britain to withdraw from the EU. He writes, I think we should not only withdraw from Europe, but from the rest of the world as well. We should build a massive wall all around the coast of Britain and never go out. P.S. I am a bricklayer, but this has nothing to do with it.
Gillian Oxpleasure from Southampton has written in about the Chancellor's proposed spending cuts. She writes, Gordon Brown has said that there's no such thing as a blank cheque. This is nonsense. Only this morning my bank sent me an entire book full of blank cheques. Gordon Brown is stupid.
And finally, Vim Morrison has written in with the solution to our crossword puzzle. He writes, a crossword is an arrangement of numbered squares to be filled with words running both across and down in answer to correspondingly numbered clues. And that is the correct answer. I'm Richard.
And I'm Lolly Swain.
And that was The Way It Is.